This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Gunfire rings out in Broad Ripple. We're live this morning with what police are saying led up to this deadly shooting.
And one man is in jail following an overnight police chase. Breaking this morning why the chase ultimately involved officers from 2 different counties.
And hundreds of young students will be at the state fairgrounds today. We're live this morning with the life-saving skills that they'll be learning. First here at 6 o'clock, we do want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana. Thanks for waking up early with us. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick, and meteorologist Todd Clausen is here delivering some good news. We are finally seeing a declining trend in our temperatures.
Yeah, you know, it's been a rough go of it. I mean, everybody wants summer to linger, right? But
yeah.
Nobody wants 90s. Yesterday the humidity was up, and so it definitely got a little uncomfortable. Well, it's still warm. It's still a little muggy here this morning. The difference is going to arrive later on this afternoon and eventually into the evening hours. Your morning drive will be dry here. We warm up quicker this morning, but then we kind of cap our warming as we get towards the noon hour, or maybe 1, 2 o'clock. There is a little bit of patchy fog out there. It's in northeast Indiana. I really just point this out in case your travels take you up Interstate 69 towards the Fort Wayne area. You'll run into that fog pretty quickly, so be aware of that. Otherwise, we'll keep an eye on these spotty showers off to our west. This is part of the cold front that will be working its way through. I don't think it's anything more than a sprinkle in northern locales, but just don't be shocked if you see that this morning. We should be completely dry from Indianapolis to the south. So as you get out the door, you start off your Thursday here. We'll warm to about 80 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour, and then we hold pretty steady throughout the remainder of the afternoon. We'll talk about that afternoon forecast and beyond coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic this morning, and a heads up to you as you're heading out the door. We do have this crash cleanup on the westbound lanes of I-465, the left lane here and in the ditch at I-865. We had crews out there working the area, and we do have the vehicles there blocking part of traffic. You can still get by in the right lane, but just use caution and watch for people out there on the interstate this morning. Let's take a look at our traffic now map as we're planning out your drive heading in from the east side. You can expect a 10-minute drive from Post Road to I-65, the north split. 10 minutes is meaning that everything is moving along up to speed. There are no delays here heading in from the east side. Well, we are following breaking news this morning from Broad Ripple.
That's where a man was shot and killed at a local bar. Our Alyssa Donovan is live at the scene right now. Alyssa, what do we know so far?
So we know that police were called here just before 3:30 this morning. It's at Connor's Pub, which is just at the corner of Main Street and Ferguson. And you can see right now that the scene is still very active. We still have detectives and police officers on scene. When they arrived, they found a man who had been shot. After paramedics arrived, that man was pronounced dead at the scene. Detectives are interviewing witnesses to find out more about what led to the shooting. It is very early on in this investigation, and at this point, we do not know if the victim was inside or outside of the bar at the time of the shooting. Police say the area is typically busy during that time, as Connor's Pub is an after-hours bar, and you can see this area is still very busy. So if this is part of your morning commute at all, it would be best to avoid this as you head out this morning. This is likely going to be tied off for quite some time, and police do ask if you have any additional information on this shooting. If you were in the area, if you heard anything, that you contact Crime Stoppers. That number is 262-TIPS. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you for that update. Here at 6:03, we are following more breaking news right now. A man is facing charges after leading officers on a police chase that spanned multiple counties. Metro Police say the chase started when they tried to stop a man for a traffic violation near 62nd and Michigan Road. That driver then took off, and officers chased him along 56th Street to Brownsburg, then down to State Road 267 to County Road 100 North in Avon, and that's where a pit maneuver finally stopped him. There's no word this morning on why the man would not stop for police.
We could find out later this month if charges will be dropped against an Indiana man accused of abandoning his adopted daughter. An attorney for Michael Barnett filed a motion to dismiss neglect charges in Tippecanoe County. Investigators claim when Barnett and his now ex-wife adopted a young girl in 2010, they had her age changed from 8 years old to 22 years old. Then they abandoned her in 2013. The attorney claims the girl was actually an adult pretending to be a child. A hearing for the motion is set for October 15th. You can read much more about this complicated case in the RTV6 app.
Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill is expected to give an update today on the discovery of thousands of fetal remains at the home of an abortion doctor. After the death of Dr. Ulrich Klopfer last month, family members there found more than 2,200 remains at his home in Illinois. Curtis Hill's office is investigating this case, and that's because Klopfer operated 3 clinics in northern Indiana. Hill will share the very latest information at 11 o'clock this morning from South Bend.
An investigation is underway this morning after school resource officers in Park County found a vape containing THC. The vape was found at Park Heritage Middle School in Marshall. THC is the intoxicating chemical found in marijuana. Police say 4 students were passing the device around when one of them took it home. Authorities say it's important students learn the dangers of putting the chemicals they're putting in their body. School officials say Park County Prosecutor's Office will take over the investigation.
A damaged sidewalk on the east side of Indianapolis scheduled to be fixed today after RTV6 got involved. Philip McIver reached out to us for help, saying it's been 8 months since his aunt and uncle first complained about the snowplow damaging the sidewalk in front of their home that's along Emerson Avenue. Judy and Benny Napier are both in their 80s, and they need a little bit of help getting around, making it even more important for them to have a safe path around their home. McIver says that his uncle called the Mayor's Action Center several times since January.
They've called 3-4 times. They've called the mayor's office. They've called the Department of Public Works, and nothing's happened. And that's why we called you.
We need a sidewalk. If the alley is blocked off with snow, I can clean the front walk off and get my wife down there and get in the car, but the way it is, I can't do that.
After RTV6 took the family's concerns to DPW, a spokeswoman said that the department sent a crew out to inspect the sidewalk, and it will be fixed today. Of course, we're going to continue to follow up on that story and make sure that happens.
Don't be surprised if you see semi-trucks parked in front of the State House this Friday. Truck drivers led by the group Truckers United are planning to meet with state representatives to talk about the problems they have with autonomous trucks. Those are trucks which drive themselves with some help from a driver. The concerned drivers say autonomous trucks could eliminate 900,000 trucking jobs. We talked with the driver who is also concerned about safety.
For now, the technology is not there. We do not have the infrastructure or the ability to track. Right now, most of the GPS systems can still be off, or the older systems, the satellite systems that they have, can still be off. And as far as weather, snow, or anything that's blocking the roads and stuff is going to create problems.
The truck drivers have put together a bill opposing autonomous trucks. It's something they hope legislators will consider.
It's 6:07. A new daycare facility on the east side of Indianapolis is set to open on October 31st. The owner specifically chose the location near 21st and Emerson because she says the area lacks quality child care. But recent crime is making things tough just ahead of the grand opening. Kayana Williams tells RTV6 that a vandalized fence separating her daycare from Emerson Place Apartments is allowing unwanted guests to trespass and steal from her property.
My concern is the safety of the children. That's my main concern. And crime is everywhere, but it could, at the same time, we need to just, be more mindful, of the area and where we are bringing crime to, so that's the big issue.
The company that owns Emerson Place Apartments tells RTV6 it's in the process of making repairs to the gate. Police also told Williams that they are stepping up patrols in that area.
Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's initiative to connect you with opportunities in the workforce. A Morgan County business is growing in creativity, and that means new jobs. Creative Works is a homegrown Hoosier company that got its start in Mooresville in 1997. Employees design, manufacture, and install props and attractions like laser tag arenas, escape rooms, miniature golf courses, arcade-style attractions, virtual reality, and esports games. The company says the expansion will create up to 70 new jobs by the end of 2022.
Today, hundreds of first and second graders will participate in a fire safety Olympics at the state fairgrounds. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning. And Kelsey, this has been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, you're right. It started in 2000. So I'm here with Captain Henderson, and you have been helping put on this event for quite some time. And this year, you're kind of you've been in this pavilion a lot recently.
Yes.
Setting this up. So tell me, why is it so important that these kids get this training?
Well, you know, kids at this age, they are like little sponges. They take in the information and they can't wait to get home to share it with their parents. And so we find that this is a great time to introduce fire safety and life safety skills to children.
Okay, and yeah, it's not, like you said, it's also life safety skills. So tell me a little bit about what they're going to be learning.
So, you know, the theme this year is about, you know, not every hero wears a cape. So we're teaching kids that, you know, when you put on your seatbelt, so we'll be talking about seatbelt safety, you're the hero that day because you prevent something bad from happening. So we'll just be doing things like that. Stop, drop, and roll. We'll be teaching kids about 2 ways out. So they'll have some fun and they'll learn a lot of things too.
Yeah, another thing you're talking about is just health and fitness and living a healthy lifestyle. Tell me a little bit of why that's important, again, at this age.
Well, you know, we want children to develop good habits. And so with the fitness and nutrition station, they'll learn those good habits and they'll have fun doing it, but they'll be able to help teach their parents when they get home, you know, some of those nice things to know about nutrition.
Yeah, and this Not All Heroes Wear Capes, that's a good initiative that parents can take not only just here, but they can take home and teach their kids.
Absolutely. You know, if a child eats their green beans, hey, they're being good to their body and preventing bad things from happening. They're a hero.
Yeah, and who doesn't want to be a superhero? We'll have more at 6:30 with Captain Henderson. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Kelsey, thank you. Prices at the grocery store are on the move. Still ahead, we're looking at what'll cost you more the next time you head to the checkout line. Todd.
Hey, Meredith, as the kids walk out the door and head off to the bus stop here this morning, the weather is nice and quiet. That is the good news. It's still on the mild side with a temperature right around 70 degrees as the kids come home from school. Not as warm as it was yesterday. That's the good news. 81 degrees. We'll talk about the passage of the cold front and look ahead as well coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:11. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Home to Scratch Made. Come on home to Cracker Barrel.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time right now is 6:14 here on our Thursday, and we're keeping you updated on your morning drive. Here's a live look over on the northwest side. Excuse me, Meredith. Here's a live look over on the northwest side here on northbound I-465. This is near I-74 Crawfordsville Road, that area, and you can see everything here is moving along just fine from our dash cam view. We'll keep you updated. Well, tens of thousands of Hoosiers fear being able to get ahead, and that's because they don't have that high school diploma.
A lady named Denise wants to know what her options are, so our Hiring Hoosiers career coach is on the job.
We have good news for Denise. The solution isn't as difficult as it seems. First, she shouldn't feel embarrassed or afraid. She's not alone. Last year, we had thousands of people in Indiana who obtained their high school equivalency certifications after attending an adult education program. Denise can find a program like the one here at Central 9, where our life coaches can help her make a personal goal plan, register for classes, and get on her way to obtaining her HSC certification. And one plus is it's free. We offer morning and evening classes so Denise can attend at a time that works around her schedule. And once she finishes her high school certification, she can also take advantage of some free advanced course offerings that we offer right here at Central 9. We offer classes like CNA, welding, EMT, Microsoft, and QuickBooks. Programs like Work One also provide resources like resume writing and career counseling and training classes to help Denise achieve her goals. You can find adult ed programs offered in most communities. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Do that which you fear to do, and the fear will die."
For more career coach tips and all of our other Hiring Hoosiers stories, you can visit hiringhoosiers.com. And now we're going to visit with meteorologist Todd Clausen for a check at our weather.
All right, we've been talking about the heat the past 3 days, and we set the record high temperature 3 days in a row, so that weather headline is kind of behind us. But I do think a headline continuing going forward is going to be the extremely dry conditions across central Indiana. So everywhere you see in yellow here is abnormally dry. The darker shades of what we'll call brown or the lighter brown, that's where there's moderate drought is in place. This map is updated only on Thursday, so that will be today, and I'm expecting this to get filled in a little bit more. We really need some rain, but we don't have a whole lot in this forecast, unfortunately. Yes, we're transitioning over to some cooler temperatures, but there's not many rain opportunities, at least over the next 7 days. 71 degrees, that's the current temperature. The winds are out of the west-southwest at 10 miles per hour. What we'll watch for later on this afternoon is for that wind to change to a northwesterly direction, and that's what's going to continue to drive our temperatures down. And there's not a lot of humidity out there, but it's noticeable, and that'll get knocked down as well once the front passes. So this morning you're walking out the door to temperatures in the 60s and 70s across the area, and this is generally the ballpark we've been in the past few days, where we've seen those temperatures climb all the way up into the low 90s. Not going to happen here today. The cold front is finally going to make its way through the area. It's just been lingering off to our west the past few days, but you notice Chicago's at 60 right now, 50 in Des Moines. That's where the front is that comes through, and probably by about mid-afternoon. So our temperatures initially this morning, as we show you them hour by hour, warm up to right around 80 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. Then we hold steady through about 3 o'clock, but we don't see that big time warming throughout the afternoon hours like we did the past 3 days. And then this evening, the temperatures will actually start to cool by late afternoon, back down into the mid-70s and eventually into the 60s this evening. Now, a lot of times when a cold front comes through, we generally get some rainfall. This front does not have much in the way of moisture with it. It's kind of cut off. We had that wave go through Michigan. There's a lot of rain off to our southwest, but we just find ourselves in a spot here where, one, we have a lot of dry air in place, and there's just not a lot of moisture to work with. So could there be a spot shower or sprinkle? Yes, north of Indianapolis throughout the afternoon hours, but it's barely going to wet the ground if you see it at all, and it's definitely not going to cancel any outdoor plans. This evening, temperatures will be in the 60s. It's really, really comfortable with sunset at 7:25, and then tomorrow it's going to be a terrific day. We'll start off on the cool side, anywhere from about 47 to 52 degrees, but we'll go from that number up to right around 70 with partly cloudy skies. Many of you could only be in the mid to upper 60s tomorrow, but either way, it's a terrific day with partly cloudy skies as you look at your 7-day planning forecast. Saturday, we are in the 70s, mostly sunny Saturday. The storms on Sunday are actually Saturday night into Sunday morning, so I don't think it'll affect any outdoor plans. Then look at next week. We're talking about temperatures that will be in the 60s for highs and low temperatures that will be in the 40s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We have been monitoring this crash cleanup. This is on the northwest side, the westbound left lane of I-465 near I-865. You can see crews out there, people walking there in the grass. So just use caution as you travel through this area as they work to clear this. Traffic is still getting by, so it is not closed, as you can see. Let's take a live look right now from our photographer, Shay Goodpaster. He's in our live drive vehicle in the driver's seat, and this is a dash cam view. He's on northbound I-465 heading on the northwest side of town near West 56th Street. The interstate here open and quiet so far for your Thursday morning drive. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any crashes or delays and keep you updated.
Have you been to the grocery store lately? You might have noticed prices are fluctuating. Working for you, John Matarese is breaking down what's going up in price and what's costing a little less.
Good news and bad news at the grocery store this week when it comes to staples. The price of eggs is down, but the price of milk may be going up. Money Magazine says an oversupply of eggs this summer, possibly due to the hot weather, is causing egg prices to shatter. There are simply too many hens and too many eggs, and that means savings for you at the grocery store. But with milk, it's just the opposite. Fewer dairy cattle due to drought and reduced herds as demand for milk drops. That means less milk and higher prices. So the average price of a dozen large eggs has dropped from $1.35 to 92 cents this year, according to Money Magazine. But the average price of a gallon of whole milk is up to $3.30 nationwide, the Department of Agriculture reports. Some grocery stores are starting to raise their promotional price of milk, which they sometimes sell below $2 just to get you into the store. So watch for price changes in the coming weeks so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thanks. Well, an Ohio mom is taking a unicorn approach to making drivers slow down. Just ahead in our trending 6, why police are not so thrilled with her tactics. At 6:21, we'll be right back.
Optic light, lighting that works.
Before you head out the door, it's time for the Trending 6.
These are some of the stories that everyone's sharing online today that you'll want to know about. Move over fantasy football. Fat Bear Week is back to prepare for hibernation. Bears in Alaska's Katmai National Park and Reserve are packing on the pounds. The National Park Service turned into an annual contest, which is now in its 5th year. The park's chubbiest bears are now pitted against one another head-to-head. The matchups there. And there's even an online bracket, that's featuring the profiles of those husky competitors.
Some homeowners in New Hampshire waking up to find an uninvited young moose in their pool. Officials say they used a rope and some stairs to coax the moose out. Authorities say the moose is easily recognized because it has one antler pointing down. They say just a few days ago he tried to climb a car in a dog park. Now it is mating season for moose, meaning males will travel quite the distance to find a mate.
It's like, yeah, I'm getting out of here. Well, a mom in Ohio is taking a magical approach, you could say, to getting her neighbors to slow down. She's been donning this unicorn costume, holding a sign urging drivers to slow down near her children's bus stop in Centerville. She says her campaign has been getting good vibes from the kids and the other parents, but local police, not so much. They're less than thrilled about the campaign, saying that she's distracting drivers.
This is what you get when you cross Halloween with real estate. An agent in Lansing, Michigan is listing a house with pictures that include the Ghostface character from the Scream movies. He says he wanted to generate some buzz for the house, and it's working. The listing has now gone viral. He says he's already thinking about what kind of other characters he can use for different listings.
Harvard freshman Crystal Wang's father took this photo when she was just 3 years old. Well, Wang didn't even know the photo existed, but her dad showed it to her when she got into Harvard and said she should try to find that officer. Well, she posted the picture on Instagram, and the Harvard Gazette reporter recognized Officer Charles Marin right away. So they met up 15 years later to recreate that photo.
That's pretty sweet.
That's
I like
really
that.
Cool.
A car prowler shocked as he realizes he was being recorded on dash cam video.
Oh.
Smile, you're on camera. Prowlers in Portland, Oregon had been picking through the parking lot checking for unlocked doors. The woman says the camera is motion activated and records for 10 seconds before turning on a bright light. Police say the incident serves as a reminder to always lock your doors and, hey, maybe stay out of cars that aren't yours. I think that's the more important reminder.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you should lock your doors, but it's like, all right, you shouldn't be rummaging through somebody else's car.
That picture is so clear. So good. So good.
They caught him. Like, I mean,
they have to.
Somebody has to.
They have to.
Someone knows that guy.
How could you not? If that wasn't your friend, you would be ragging on them. Like, okay, not only were you silly enough to break into people's cars, but it caught you.
Serves you right. You got caught.
I wonder if they'll just edit that and make it his mugshot.
Good, babe. All right, some changes finally in the forecast here for the day today. It's still a little warm and muggy here this morning, and temperatures will climb to about 80 degrees by the noon hour. But that's about it for the warming. Temperatures will actually start to fall as we go throughout the remainder of the day. Big temperature spread, 70s to the north where the front arrives sooner. 80s, though, as you work your way down to the south. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Visit IndianaLatinoExpo.org.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A mother is taking legal action after her son and 15 other students were mistakenly given an insulin injection at school. What she wants done to hold the school accountable.
I'm Kelsey Anderson, live outside the Blue Ribbon Pavilion. Coming up, I'll have a live interview about what's happening here for Fire Safety Week.
And here at 6:30, we want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. And it only took us 4 days or so to finally get into some more comfortable temperatures. Meteorologist Todd Clausen here with the good news we have all been waiting for.
Yeah, you know, the 90s are done.
Okay.
3 days in a row set record high temperatures. 2 of those days were the warmest temperatures ever for Indianapolis in the month of October. And today we start that transition to a more cooler, more fall-like, more seasonable weather pattern that I think we're all basically ready for after that stretch of record temperatures. What do you need to grab before you go? Well, the sunglasses handy once again today. Skies will be partly cloudy. There are the chance of a few spotty sprinkles, but it does not justify you carrying the umbrella around throughout the entire day. And you definitely do not need the jacket. And those showers are just part of a cold front that is just off to our west. And you see a few of them sneaking in north of Lafayette. Those probably are not even reaching the ground. There's just so much dry air that's still in place here in central Indiana. As this front comes through, essentially all it's going to do is change our wind direction and thus also cool our temperatures down. So as we work our way throughout the morning, this is where we see the most warmth throughout the day. We'll quickly warm up to close to 80 degrees by the time we get to the 11 o'clock hour, and then our temperatures kind of cap themselves into the early afternoon. We'll talk about that afternoon forecast and look ahead to the weekend as well, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We have been monitoring a crash cleanup on westbound I-465 near I-865 on the northwest side. It's looking like everything here is back moving along up to speed, so that is good news. Traffic is heavy up there on the northwest side. We'll continue to keep a close eye on that area and keep you updated this morning.
We're following breaking news from Broad Ripple this morning. That's where a man was shot and killed at a local bar. Our Alyssa Donovan is on scene right now. Alyssa, have we learned any new information since we spoke to you last?
So we haven't learned too much more at this time, Meredith. What we do know right now is that police were called here to Main Street and Ferguson on reports of a shooting. That was right around 3:30 this morning. And let me show you right behind me. They were called to Connor's Pub. Now, we don't know if that shooting happened inside or outside of the bar, but when they arrived, they did find a man who had been shot. After paramedics arrived, he died at the scene. Detectives are interviewing witnesses to find out more about what led to the shooting. It is very early on in this investigation, and at this point, we do not know if the victim was inside or outside. But police do say that the address they were called to was the address of this bar. Now, police say there have been 121 homicides since the start of this year.
Oh, what this is, I mean, this is just shows where we're at right now as a society, not necessarily a city. Gun violence, unfortunately, is happening everywhere. So that's just another example of that.
Now, police say this area is typically busy during this time of the morning since Connor's Pub is an after-hours bar. So they did have several witnesses to talk to, and because it's so early on in the investigation, there is a lot that we do not know right now. Of course, we don't know where the shooting occurred. We also do not know much about the victim. All we know right now is that it was an adult male who was shot. We also do not have any suspect information, and of course, we are working on learning that information, and as soon as we have it, we will share it with you so that you can know that important detail. If you have any additional information, if you were in the area at the time of the shooting or in the bar and you would like to help investigators, you can call Crime Stoppers at 262-TIPS. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you for that update. We do want to get to more breaking news we've been following from overnight. A man is facing charges after leading officers on a police chase through multiple counties. Metro Police say the chase started when they tried to stop this man for a traffic violation near 62nd and Michigan Road. He took off and officers chased him along 56th Street all the way to Brownsburg and then down State Road 267 to County Road 100 North in Avon, where he was stopped. It's unclear why the man would not stop for police.
This morning, the investigation continues after a 3-car crash in Brownsburg left a child dead and 3 others injured. It happened on Wednesday at the intersection of State Road 267 and County Road 1000 North. Police believe a minivan ran a stop sign and hit a truck and then another car. A passenger in the minivan was taken to the hospital in critical condition and later died. The driver of the minivan and 2 people in the truck suffered minor injuries. An infant was also taken to the hospital as a precaution. This morning, a mother is demanding accountability after finding her son unconscious and overdosing from an insulin shot.
Her son was one of 16 students accidentally given an injection mix-up that happened Monday at the McKenzie Center for Innovation and Technology. Cynthia Smith ran to her child when she learned that he was mistakenly given insulin when he was supposed to be given a test for tuberculosis. Her son Elijah Gaskin III was rushed to the hospital after this mix-up. Smith is an experienced nurse, and she says she can't understand how a healthcare professional could confuse insulin with that TB solution.
In school, you're taught how to check things, and you check them 3-4 times before you even administer, but you have to physically do that to draw any type of solution out of any bottle. So it's here right above your eyes, so you have to read it.
Well, a spokesperson for Lawrence Township Schools tells RTV6 students in the district's career training programs are required to get the flu shot and be tested for TB before starting their off-campus learning.
A neighborhood on the near east side of Indianapolis is getting $3.5 million for improvements. The funding will go to the 10th Street corridor just east of downtown over 3 years. The money comes from Lift Indy, a community development investment program. Charles Lovelady, a longtime business owner in the neighborhood, became emotional when talking about bringing new life to the area.
It's just, sorry for saying did it again. Just being in this neighborhood for how many years I have, I'm ready to see new things happening, new businesses, new houses being developed, and I'm just here on board with that.
To bring these a selection committee made up of city, nonprofit, and business leaders chose the neighborhood from a pool of applicants.
General Motors will soon lose $600 million in profits as they continue to negotiate with union workers for a third week. One firm estimates the automaker could lose $90 million a day if that strike continues. GM has also stopped production at plants in Canada and Mexico due to the strike. Union bargainers rejected a contract offer yesterday, saying the offer would take money from other places to fund profit sharing.
Indianapolis is wasting no time trying to take over an empty property after the current owner scrapped a major redevelopment project. The city now plans to use eminent domain to take control of the former General Motors stamping plant site on the west side. The decision comes a week after the current owner, Ambrose Property Group, backed out of a plan to bring apartments, restaurants, and retail to the area. In a letter to the company, the city says it's making the move to ensure necessary development. RTV6 reached out to Ambrose for comment, but as of now, we have not heard back. Ambrose has already sold or given away some of that land. That includes 26 acres to the Indianapolis Zoo. The zoo will use the additional property for a major expansion and a new exhibit. The zoo parking lot will also be moved as part of the expansion. 800 first and second graders will fill the Blue Ribbon Pavilion today for the annual Fire Safety Olympics hosted by the Indianapolis Fire Department.
And our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with more on what those kids are going to be taking part in today. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, so I'm here with Captain Henderson with the Indianapolis Fire Department, and she says this event has been going on for quite some time. So tell me a little bit about what this is.
It's, we've been doing this for 20 years. It's part of our Fire Prevention Week activities, and so we've had a great sponsor, State Farm, who has sponsored every single year of those 20 years. And so we've been able to mix it in with home visits where we go and we make sure that people have working smoke alarms, and then we have our event that we have today, our Fire Safety Olympics, where we focus on children.
Yeah, and so it's called Fire Safety Olympics, but they're learning much more than just fire safety tips.
Yes, they are learning tips about life safety. So they'll learn about pedestrian safety. They'll learn about child passenger safety, things like that. So they get a little bit more than just fire safety.
Yeah, and my favorite part that you've described to me is the theme for this year. I think it's so fun. It's something that parents can definitely take, not even just here, they can take it home and, always give that. So tell me a little bit about the theme.
Not every hero wears a cape. And so we want to empower our children to know that when they do things that are right, that are safe, they become the hero. When they keep things bad from happening, they become the heroes.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of these kids are in the Indianapolis area. They're from around here. Yes. And the big thing that you guys are teaching is pedestrian safety. A lot of kids either walk to the school bus stop or they're standing at the school bus stop. So tell me a little bit about what they're going to be learning, and maybe, again, parents can, if their kids aren't coming here, they can teach their kids tonight.
Sure. They'll be learning about the rules of the road, how to know what the signs are, how to recognize the signs and what they mean, so that when you're out in the public and you're maneuvering the streets, you know what to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And again, this is at the Blue Ribbon Pavilion, and it is for, it's called the Fire Safety Olympics, and we'll have more on this later on RTV6. I'll send it back to you guys.
Kelsey, thank you. Sounds awfully fun and educational. Controversy continues over the whistleblower call at the center of the impeachment inquiry. Coming up, why a new report says that Vice President Mike Pence could be involved.
And today marks another big step for Indiana sports betting. Still ahead, the app's now available to make wagers right on your smartphone. Hey, Todd.
All right, if you are sick of the heat, I have good news for you. We are starting to transition today into a cooler weather pattern that's going to carry us all the way into the weekend. We'll talk about that forecast and look ahead to some minor rain chances as well. It's all coming up in your main weather forecast in just a few minutes. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. 6:43 here on our Thursday, and you can see this backup we have right now on the north side. This is a live look at I-465 near Michigan Road. The slowdown on the farther side of your screen, that's the westbound lanes, and that's due to an earlier crash we had near I-865 there on the northwest side. So looking like that crash is cleared, so hopefully this will start picking back up soon, but this is an area we'll continue to monitor this morning. At 6:44, he's largely avoided many of the controversies his boss has been caught up in, but that might be changing now that an impeachment investigation of President Trump is underway.
The Washington Post is reporting that Vice President Mike Pence was involved in efforts to pressure the leader of Ukraine in order for that country to receive promised U.S. military aid. The report says Trump had the former Indiana governor demand that the Ukrainian president do more to crack down on corruption. This was happening around the same time Trump was asking for a Ukrainian investigation of the president's potential Democratic rival, Joe Biden. The Post report says officials close to Pence insist he was not aware of Trump's effort to get damaging information on Biden.
Today, the man who resigned last week as the State Department's special envoy to Ukraine will give depositions to 3 House committees. Kurt Volker's testimony comes as President Trump continues to speak out against that investigation. Neither the White House nor the president have said what part of the complaint was inaccurate, and when pressed, it was a question Trump didn't answer.
The question, sir, was what did you want President Zelensky to do about Vice President Biden and his son Hunter?
Are you talking to me?
I think the president knows the argument that can be made against him, and he's scared.
See, Mr. Atkinson will.
Well, overnight, the whistleblower's lawyer pushed back on Republican claims that their client worked with a member of Congress to write the complaint. The lawyer sent out a statement saying the whistleblower drafted the complaint entirely on their own. And this morning, and on Good Morning America, an ABC News exclusive, George Stephanopoulos going one-on-one with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, getting the speaker's take on her phone conversation with the president hours before she announced the impeachment inquiry. That's coming up right here on Good Morning America.
Senator Bernie Sanders is taking a break from campaigning after a brief health scare. The Democratic presidential candidate was taken to the hospital after experiencing chest pain at a campaign event Tuesday night. Doctors found a blocked artery and inserted 2 stents to open it up. His rivals on the Democratic side all had well wishes for the Vermont senator, including the mayor of South Bend, who once won a high school essay contest with a paper about Sanders.
We're reaching out to send good wishes. I'm not sure what he needs right now is a visit from somebody like me, but definitely want to let him know, of course, that we're thinking of him and wishing him a very speedy recovery.
Sanders is back on Twitter already and already campaigning again on health care. The senator tweeted last night that he is fortunate to have good health care and great doctors and nurses helping me to recover. None of us know when a medical emergency might affect us, and no one should fear going bankrupt if it occurs.
At 6:46, sports betting will take another step in Indiana today as it's officially legal online. In-person sports betting began last month, allowing casinos to take game wagers. Chicago-based Rush Street Interactive and DraftKings are both launching the state's first betting apps after receiving approval from the Indiana Gaming Commission. They are partnering with Ameristar Casino in East Chicago and French Lick Resort Casino. All Indiana casino operators are planning mobile betting apps, but others have not announced launch dates. A report that the State Gaming Commission projects about 2/3 of the sports bets will actually be done online within just a few years.
Using an ATM will also cost you more than it used to. Bankrate.com says ATM operators are charging users 2% more than they did last year. The average surcharge is now $3.09, but it's not all bad news. The average fee charged by the customer's own bank for using an out-of-network ATM dipped to $1.63.
Walmart is the latest retailer to pull the heartburn drug Zantac from its store shelves. The medication is being linked to cancer concerns, but it's not been officially recalled. CVS and Walgreens have already pulled the drug and their generic brand options. treatments. The FDA has acknowledged that the concerns and said that patients who want to stop taking the prescription need to talk to their doctors. Walmart says customers can return the affected products for a refund. Well, back here, it is 6:48, and we need to talk about the weather today.
We do, because we are finally at the point we have all been waiting for. The temperatures are starting to dip, and it is going to feel more like fall soon, Todd.
Yeah, you know, it's been a struggle here with all the heat around. Certainly not that fall-like feel. You notice the trees not really changing. They're just dropping these leaves that are almost turning brown because it's been so dry. Well, we're now entering a cooler, more seasonal weather pattern just in time here for the first weekend of October. Quickly want to point out some visibility this morning in and around most of the metro area. It's just fine. You may see Jay County on your screen for that dense fog advisory. Fog's kind of lifting out of Jay County, but it's still really, really dense in Fort Wayne. So just know if you travel up Interstate 69 here, as you make your way out of the Grant and Blackford County area towards Fort Wayne, visibilities will drop very, very quickly. Otherwise, not expecting any issues in and around the metro area, where as you look to the north, and you can see visibility is not an issue. 71 degrees. The winds are still out of the west-southwest at 10 miles per hour. Those winds will change and come out of the northwest later on this afternoon, and that's going to start to usher in that newer, more comfortable air mass that's going to be in place for the foreseeable future. 70 in Lafayette right now, 66 in Columbus, 69 is the current temperature in Richmond. Here is the cooler air that's been lingering really just off to our west for the past few days. We're in the 50s come tomorrow morning, 40s come a Saturday morning. We probably don't get into the 30s, thankfully, but the cooler air is going to be heading in our direction. So as you walk the dog here this morning, you're walking out to temperatures that are going to be in the 60s and 70s, but fairly comfortable. And our featured dog of the day is Buddy. He is all ready to go out there for his walk, and see the leash on him there. Thanks to Debbie for sending Buddy in. If you want your dog featured, you can send them to my Facebook page, Todd Clausen, RTV6, and we'll get them on eventually. Got quite a few in the queue here in the coming days, but we'll get to it. You just got to be a little bit patient. Make sure to include the name of your dog as well. I get a bunch of pictures with no names, so then I can't really do a whole lot with them. So green pause here throughout the course of the day today, but notice the temperatures. We kind of plateau around 78 by the noon hour, and then temperatures actually will start to fall as the day goes on, and that's because the cold front's going to be working its way through. Broken line of showers here. Don't bank on much in the way of rainfall here throughout the day. There could be a quick passing sprinkle or light shower in northern locations as that front goes through, but honestly, it's going to be barely enough to wet the ground. And then this evening, if you have plans, you'll be just fine. Temperatures will be falling from the 70s into the 60s under a mainly clear sky. And tonight's one of those nights you can again turn the air condition off, open up the windows, and enjoy the comfortable air. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, nice 69. That's the high temperature. It's going to be beautiful for high school football tomorrow evening. Saturday, 75, partly cloudy skies. Late Saturday into Sunday, there could be a spot storm, but most of Sunday is dry as well with a temperature of 72 degrees. And then next week, we don't bring that heat back. Temperatures stay in the 60s and 70s for afternoon highs.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are still monitoring some slowdowns up here on the north side of town. You're getting a live look from our INDOT traffic camera along I-465 and Michigan Road. The slowdowns are in the westbound lanes, and that's due to a crash we had earlier blocking a lane of traffic at I-865 on the northwest side. That crash looks to be clear at this hour, so hopefully things will pick back up here on the north side. Give yourself a few extra minutes if this is part of your morning drive.
I saw those blue lights flashing over my left shoulder.
If you were like the late George Jones back in the day and had your driver's license suspended for drunk driving, you may not be able to get around not getting behind the wheel by using your riding lawnmower to take trips. At least not in Wisconsin. A federal appeals court says a Wisconsin man arrested for driving drunk on his lawnmower in 2017 can face the same charges as someone getting a DUI in a truck or car. The man who was arrested had appealed his conviction, saying he didn't think drunk driving laws applied to John Deere's.
All right, well, there you go.
Good to know.
Yeah, she got doused while doing her job last week. Coming up, we hope she brought something that cleans up easily to Oakland, because this Tampa reporter was in store for another rowdy locker room. It's 6:52. Stick around. We'll be right back. Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board. Welcome back at 6:55. Still monitoring slowdowns the westbound lanes of I-465 along the north side here at Michigan Road due to an earlier crash.
Last week on Good Morning Indiana, we showed you the plight of Tricia Whitaker. She's the reporter who covers the Tampa Bay Rays, and after the Rays clinched a spot in the playoffs, she got the obligatory champagne and beer shower in the locker room from the players.
Yeah, and well, as it turns out, if she thought her cleaning bill was high after that game, it was nothing compared to what happened after the Rays won the wild card game in Oakland last night, and after she interviewed winning pitcher Charlie Morton.
All it takes is a bleeder, a blooper, ball hit down the line, ball hits a bag, and you can't pitch like that. You can't. That's I think we talked about this early in the year. Hey, Tricia, welcome back.
Oh, man. Well, not sure she was very happy about that one. I feel kind of bad for the poor girl trying to do her job.
I do, too. And if you recognize Tricia, that's because she used to work here in Indianapolis at one of our other stations here. So, not sure if she's enjoying that new gig or not.
She brought some shampoo and conditioner.
And a towel.
Yeah. It's probably pretty sticky.
Poor thing. I don't want to know what Budweiser does to your hair after that much being poured on your head.
Oh, yikes.
That'd be a long flight, too. I think they have to go to Houston next.
Hopefully she can get a shower before that.
Clean up a little bit. All right, outside right now, temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. Unlike the past few days, we will not get to 90 degrees today. Should top off right around 80 degrees, even a little cooler in northern locations where the front gets to a little bit quicker. And this will be our transition into a more seasonable weather pattern. Our average high is 70, 69 tomorrow with lots of sunshine. Saturday morning into the 40s, highs in the 70s for the weekend. Just the chance of a few spotty storms in the forecast on Sunday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. We're going to be back right here in 25 minutes, all throughout Good Morning America, of course, with local news, weather, and your traffic updates.
And remember, all your news can be found throughout the day on the RTV6 app. We want to thank you for joining us and watching Good Morning Indiana. We hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.